Allen and Afton, I'd like to see the new GM go through free agency very quietly, taking players that other teams are paying for, and enter the draft with a lot of salary cap room, waiting for when others have to cut and make moves. Let's play the long play here. We're Vikings fans. We've been waiting. We can wait one more year. Let's make sure that we're ready in 2028.
Digging these talkbacks today. Thank you, Northern Fire, and thank you, Ben Leber, for joining us in a pinch. At Nacho Leber via Twitter. Twin Cities Live, 3 to 4:30 on Channel 5 is where you also can find Ben. And beloved Nacho joins us now. We have a Vox in the Box Thursday. The Brzezinski, I mean, he and the Vikings, are they playing it coy, or do they have to play it coy? And good morning.
Good morning, PA. Can I just echo what that guy just called in and said? I mean, I think that I'm kind of in line with what he's saying.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any reason to get splashy. Clearly, we cleared up some cap space, but as far as our spending power goes, it's nowhere close to what other people have in the league. So why try to get in these bidding wars with some of these guys and, possibly overpay for a player when you could play the long game? You could, just rely on the fact that, hey, we're going to trust Brzezinski in this draft with a handful of draft picks. Having those third rounders is huge. I mean, you can find a lot of quality depth, great value in those third rounds. Obviously, you want to hit at 18, but the top end of our draft actually looks pretty good. So I think play the long game. No reason to get cray-cray. And see how this thing works for the next, it's going to probably be a year before we really know if the draft worked out, but hopefully we know before that.
You dealt with free agency, I believe, twice. How tenuous are times when you don't know where you're going to be the next year?
I was a free agent twice, although the second time was less exciting because I knew, and I think obviously the whole league kind of put me in that lower tier as far as free agents go. It was also the lockout. That was also kind of, I think that was the most tenuous time because nobody really knew when we were going to start the new league year. I was a part of the NFLPA, so I was kind of aware maybe a day or two before of like certain things happening. But for me, being a free agent, I couldn't talk to teams. I couldn't let them know that I had a knee surgery and everything was cleaned out and I was kind of on the mend and doing things to get healthy. And I couldn't have those conversations. I couldn't devote those things. So it really, that was a trying time because there was so much in the air. It's like I wanted to play one more year, at least one more year. And I couldn't even have dialogue even with the Vikings. Even if the Vikings wanted to bring me back on a minimum deal, I couldn't even have those talks. So, I had to wait and just sort of sit. I mean, I remember building a playhouse for my kids, and I'm just like, well, I guess this is my new life right now, just being a dad. I mean, I'd love to play one more year. Certainly not as exciting as when I was a free agent coming to the Vikings, where I was trying to choose between the Raiders and the Titans and the Vikings, and ultimately I chose Minnesota.
Do you, or shall I say, what do you know about new Vikings corner James Pierre?
Not a lot. I mean, kind of like everybody else, just scrambling to kind of get caught up. I did actually watch a couple games yesterday on the old NFL.com and saw him out there just move around a little bit. Certainly went back and watched our game in week 4 over in Dublin way. And, he didn't get a lot of run. He got more run at the end of the game. Made a couple nice plays, but, it's probably easier to make those plays on fresh legs in the fourth quarter versus having a lot of opportunities throughout the game. But, I see a guy that I love his length. I mean, he's 6'1", 6'2". That definitely shows up. I don't think that he's long-legged in a way that kind of like a Reek Woolen, where I think his change of direction is a little suspect. I think he changes direction very well. He's very athletic. He showed the ability to go down to the line of scrimmage and press if he needs to or play off. I mean, he kind of displays a lot of things, and there's a number of times he was lined up on Justin Jefferson and, seemed like he was going right there stride for stride. I think the one thing that showed up in the couple games that I watched that he does a really good job of, he seems like, now again, small sample size, he seems like a very smart player. Like, he knows when to use his leverage. He knows when to jump a route. If he's going to use the sideline as an extra defender, he knows to really overplay that inside leverage to basically force you to run to the outside, and vice versa. If he knows he's got inside help, he's going to jump to the outside on the snap of the football and really make sure that you cannot beat him to his weak side, to the outside part of that leverage. And he kind of squeezes everything into his help. So it seems like great understanding of knowing the defense, where the help is, being aggressive because he knows that he can jump routes. He's got help either to the inside or to the sideline. So seems like we got a good player, although I'm curious to see how much of a true starter he's going to be.
Yep.
I still think that he's probably just going to be a role player and maybe see, a fraction of the defensive reps.
Yeah, I mean, that's excellent analysis. Super happy that you broke down some plays. Like, when this happened, the only way I'm going to look at it until we start playing games is he was with Flores in Pittsburgh, and Gerald Alexander, the new DB's coach, he was there in Pittsburgh also with James Pierre. And these guys decided on the first day of everything that they want to make sure this guy doesn't jack around with other teams. We're just going to go get him. I just like that, how that all lines up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, definitely feel like that he and Alexander have a good relationship. And I'm sure that there was some dialogue, maybe throughout the season or whatever happens, when we picked up Alexander. And I'm sure he reached out to a few guys and just said, hey, keep your phone around when free agency starts. And, I definitely think that's how that went down. And yeah, if you like a guy, especially if he's not going to cost you a lot of money, then go out and get him.
As we've watched a day unfold, and now we're late morning of day 2 with the legal tampering bit. If you had a shopping list, and just from a position standpoint, I mean, I've heard you talk about Cade Mays. I was big on John Franklin Myers. Both of those are no longer an option. But just maybe from a positional standpoint, Ben, is there a priority where it's like, damn, I need my favorite team to attack this one way or another in the next couple of days?
Yeah, it is tough to look at some of the players specifically and say, like, oh, we really need to target these guys, because obviously there's a lot of other teams that are vying for that position. And like I said, we don't have a lot of spending power. I know that we cleared up the cap space, but when you look at before free agency started, having $50 million in cap space is you're not playing with a lot of big dollar bills when other people have a lot more than that. So when I look at positions, I really think that whatever quarterback that we have in there, I don't know if we want to go out there and try to find a rookie center. I think that you want to find a free agent center. So that position particularly, I think going out and finding a veteran, I think you can get away with having a defensive lineman as a rookie, but I also think because of depth issues now, I do think we still need to go out and get a veteran defensive line player, interior defensive line player, and maybe somebody that's probably in that Harrison Phillips world where, we thought that when we got rid of him that we needed a pass rushing guy. We went out and got a couple that we thought could provide that, but they weren't great against the run, and then we got gashed in the run. So now the pendulum's kind of swung the other way. So it's like, do you want to give up the run up the middle, or do you want to force the hand on passing downs? I mean, as much as I want a pass rushing defensive tackle, maybe we look at that in the draft and we look at more of a run stuffer in free agency. And I still think that we need to go out and get another DB, another safety. So again, being strategic, not overpaying for anybody, and just seeing where, just like the caller said, if there's, we're seeing guys even get released, even today that are veteran guys, and like, okay, maybe you weren't expecting that guy to get released. So wait around the next couple of weeks, see if something pops, and if something tickles your fancy, you go out and get them.
Leber.
Hey, how much has the tackle position popped into your head? I mean, a healthy Christian Darrisaw ain't trying to replace number 71. And I do love Brian O'Neill, but final year of his deal, elder statesman, all those things. We saw what Justin School provided or maybe did not provide. Really up and down campaign for him, as much as he had to work, difficult spot, and mixed results. But how much has that popped into your head in terms of, man, if they really liked a tackle in specifically, that you wouldn't be surprised maybe if they added something like that to the mix.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point. I mean, we know that O'Neill's been kind of nicked up a little bit the last couple of years too, and he's getting up there in age a little bit. Darisaw, we're hoping that is entering his prime and he doesn't actually get hurt again significantly. But we've seen what happens, how quickly things fall apart if you don't have a high quality backup. And as much as I think Brandell's been amazing, I mean, that guy can play every position. I think you need a true tackle that can swing left or right. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Probably makes sense to go out and get somebody like that. The other position that we really haven't really looked at is the running back spot. At least we haven't talked about it. I think that you could probably go out and find another cheap veteran, but I think that's definitely maybe a second round selection where you're looking at in the draft where, all right, let's specifically target maybe the best running back. I think best player available at 18 is probably in play regardless of position. But I think specifically looking at running back, if a guy like Jeremiah Love doesn't slip down to you at 18, which it sounds like there's more and more people thinking that could happen, which I think is preposterous.
Agreed.
But those other two positions, I think we leave the running back spot, that vacancy open for a rookie, and then offensive line wise, you look for a veteran both at tackle and center. And then, I have this gut feeling that we're not necessarily going to fill the CJ Ham spot with another true fullback. I feel like we're going to go a little bit more heavier 12 personnel going forward. So what does that look like with Hawkinson? Do we trust that the young tight ends are going to be that extra pass catching guy? I don't know. But if you feel like there's a veteran out there that can provide both a little bit more blocking, maybe a true H-back, that's a little different than Josh Oliver, then I think you can go out and get that guy as well.
What do you think about the draft capital, spending that on a running back, given what we have used or not used in the rushing attack throughout Kevin O'Connell's tenure? I mean, if Jeremiah Love, he's a game changer, he's available at 18, you'd feel like really confident that you could bring him in and he's maybe a day one playmaker. But just in terms of how this run game works with putting that kind of equity into that spot.
I understand what people are thinking about us not being 100% committed to the run game all the time. I still think, we're a different offense with a guy like Aaron Jones in there that can run and catch. So, and that's not necessarily Jordan Mason's, that's not his bag. I mean, he can run downhill, he can make some people miss, but he's not a home run hitter. And he's certainly not the best pass catching guy and best pass catching threat out there. So I still think adding a true 3 down, whether he's going to be green and young and a rookie, I think a guy that has the ability to hit with some speed and set up some of the screen game and be a guy that can swing out to the outside and be a pass catching threat, I think that's hugely important to this offense, regardless of how much we're going to commit to the run.
All right. Lastly, Pat McAfee show on here in the studio. They're showing Kyler Murray highlights, like 10 of them. Whoa! Holy cow. Good highlights. For the 13th consecutive week, let one of us here at KFAN ask you, what do you think of Kyler Murray as quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings, given it's prohibitively favored that it'll take place tomorrow?
I was skeptical of it a few weeks ago, only because there was the hot rumor that Derek Carr was in play. And my approach to both of those guys was like, if I'm going to have my choice, I would take Derek Carr as long as he's healthy. I just feel like he fits the offense better. He can do a little bit more things dynamically, getting down the field, throwing the football versus what Kyler can do on a consistent basis. And I know Kyler's more of a playmaker than Derek, but that doesn't seem like none of it's come to fruition. I mean, I haven't heard Derek Carr's name at all starting yesterday in free agency. He says he's healthy. He soft launched it on his own podcast. Definitely the NFL world took notice and paid attention, but I haven't heard any rumors of anybody contacting the Saints on a possible trade to get his rights. So that being said, if we're going to continue to keep all of our draft capital, build up some equity, then maybe the best situation is a guy like Kyler Murray where you can get him for $1.3, $1.5 million, and he's motivated to come here. Do I think that he fits? If Kyler Murray was in the draft, Do I think that KOC would go after a guy like him to run this offense? No. But given the circumstances that we're in, can he be a playmaker? Can he get the ball down the field? Yes, absolutely. Does he show, above average accuracy? Yes. So I think all of those things work out and they check out. So why not bring the guy in on a very, very cheap deal, see if he can be the spark plug to this offense? Because as we all know, we don't have to have a Sam Darnold type of year for this team to be successful offensively. We just need a guy that can move the chains, get out of trouble at times, get the ball and distribute a little bit. Then that's all we need. And you can't throw the ball. You can't throw the game away. Just, limit your turnovers. And I think that he can do that. And he's done that throughout his whole career. So, I definitely have come around to it. Although he has not been my first choice.
Thanks for the time in a pinch. Talk soon.
Yeah, no problem, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Ben Leber, beloved Nacho at Nacho Leber, Channel 5. Weekdays, Twin Cities Live, 3 to 4:30. And as ESPN continues to show highlights, Tyler Linderbaum. Whoa. I mean, just took a Packers tackle and threw him to the side for King Henry to run up the middle for 1 of 4 touchdowns that game. Oh, now some Ryan Wright highlights. Just kidding. All right, marathon segments 9 to noon, provided by Steve's Appliances. Steve'sAppliances.com with a 50th anniversary sale that benefits you with up to 50% off certain appliances. Steve'sAppliances.com.
It's a sweet deal.
We have some talkbacks that we're going to play for the balance of the show. Give away a prize at the end. What's that prize again?
Yeah, somebody's going to get a $25 gift card to Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply for providing the tastiest talkback.
And also a little bit of free agency-related trivia. When 9 to noon continues at FM 100.3 KFAN. All right, 30 minutes to go in the show. Some couple of statements here. Actually, one. Then some trivia, then some talkbacks. Welcome to 9 to noon. Statement. We all in the NFC should be concerned with what is not happening with the Seattle Seahawks. We should be concerned because nothing's happening. I mean, Kenneth Walker left, went to Kansas City. Boye Mafe, Sky Uma went to, I think, Cincinnati. And the Bears got Kobe Bryant, safety Kobe Bryant. All right. Well, they have oodles of money under the cap, I believe. I think that was something that you brought up, like right after they won the Super Bowl. It's like, oh, this is great. They just won the Super Bowl, and they have zillions of dollars to spend in free agency.
I'm going to try and find as close a number as I can.
Like 70 under or something like that. It's if that's accurate.
Yeah, they got money.
Yeah, they got a lot. All right. Now, John Schneider, that general manager, when Bursich and yours truly had the privilege of sitting down with Let Briz Cook, the acting GM, and he was talking about team building philosophy. John Schneider, who runs and built the Chickens, well, he was like a prime example that Brzezinski shared.
Yeah.
So now we go to free agency 2026, into the 2026 season. And you got the Las Vegas Raiders, perennial bottom feeders these days. Well, they're guaranteeing like $234 million as of this morning. And you got other teams doing the who, what, where, when, and why. Meanwhile, for the champs, sitting on a mint. Anybody they want anytime. That concerns me.
Yeah, it does.
Now, I just gave you the answer. I just gave you 25% of the answer here to a trivia question.
Are they going to replace Boye Mafe with Trey Hendrickson?
That's the first thing I thought of, is they're going to wait and see what happens.
Wow.
I mean, when you hoist the Lombardi and you have a quarterback you like, you got Smith and Jigba, and you got the Byron Murphy Jr. or second cat in the middle, playing the way they play. DeMarcus Lawrence never played better in his life, and he's still on the team. And you got Gray Zabel into his second year. You got some anchors on the offensive line. They like Zach Charbonnet. Clearly, they didn't want to pay Kenneth Walker Jr. They ain't paying running backs that. It's Super Bowl MVPs leaving the Covenant and going elsewhere the next year. I think Desmond Howard, when he won the MVP for the Packers, he may have gone somewhere the next year. But the A example here, I think it was 93, when the Cowboys won the Super Bowl. Mike Zimmer was their defensive backs coach. Well, they had Darren Woodson, they had Deion Sanders, but they also had this cat named Larry Brown, who picked off Neil O'Donnell at least twice in the game and scored at least one touchdown. He became the Super Bowl MVP. And then the next season, I think he got paid off that by the Oakland Raiders.
Judy Eby
is basically what it became.
Never heard from
Nobody
him again.
ever heard from him. Now, Kenneth Walker Jr. ain't going to be
Judy Eby
or Larry Brown, but Super Bowl MVPs generally don't leave. They ain't tripping that he left. So here's the trivia question. There are 4 teams that through all of this slot machine spinning with the funny money, 4 teams that have not brought in anybody from another team via free agency.
Ooh.
Which 4 teams are they?
Oh, I have.
Seattle.
Okay, Seattle's one.
Okay, I think they all 4 made the playoffs. I know Eagles make the playoffs.
Eagles made the playoffs.
Yeah, Eagles won the division, right?
Yeah.
First team in a quarter century to go back-to-back in the NFC East.
And they have not brought anybody in.
There you go. So that's 2 of them. Okay, now 2 AFC teams.
AFC teams.
One of them in the AFC West. Haven't brought anybody in. They lost your guy to the Tennessee Titans.
Broncos,
Yep. Number 3. And finally, Lawrence fades to fire.
Oh, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Haven't brought in anybody.
Yeah, and they lost Etienne.
Did they make the playoffs?
Jags did, yeah.
Okay, here we go. So here is the early 2026 common thread. You have mostly speaking, you have all of that under the cap money because you're bad. And you found a way to be bad for X amount of years. So therefore, you spend and spend and spend, but it's fair to wonder if this is a good free agency year in which to make investments like that.
Right.
The common thread theme when I was at the Combine was this ain't a great free agent year. And it's really not a great wide receiver free agent year. So now, could you identify top of the head the 4 teams that have made the most moves to bring new players in?
Well, the Raiders, absolutely.
Raiders, 3 of them are tied for second. There's one with 10.
Titans probably have the most.
Judy Eby.
Yeah, it's like when the Titans players last year ran out of the tunnel to start a game. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Paul Bearer Allen, your stadium announcer for Tennessee Titans football. Here come your Titans! Yay! With funeral music playing, man. So they, at least when I put this together 5 minutes ago, there were 10. They had brought 10 in.
They probably have another one since you brought it up.
Vegas, 7.
Yeah.
2 others with 7.
2 others with 7. I'm going to go bad teams. How about the Giants? Giants had a number of them.
Giants are at 5.
Oh.
But see, what plays into that is they're near the top for players they have let walk to other places. So they're identifying either can't pay them or we think they're of the Ellish variety. So we are going to let 6 of them leave and bring in a new 5.
Okay.
The New York Jets, 7 newbies.
How about the Cardinals?
The Arizona Cardinals, good guess. Missed it. They have 6.
They have 6?
Six when Murray leaves, 5 right now. Okay, where are we?
How about the Falcons?
There we go. Olamide Zaccheaus. They brought in Miami's punter. I think his name's Jake Bailey. Got a new kicker, Nick Folk. Atticus Sappington, not happy about that. Atticus Sappington, not happy about Nick Folk joining, but he's capable of beating him. Jahan Dotson, who played for Washington, then the Eagles. They got a defensive end from Cleveland, last name Thomas. They got Tua till you're satisfied. And they got linebacker, I think Chris Harris from Houston, whatever his name is. Yeah, so that's 7.
Well, see, that's
none of them made the playoffs.
None of them made the playoffs. And many of them are having to do this because they've drafted so poorly. And when we were talking about that earlier, the Vikings have drafted overall quite poorly. And so that's going to be an A topic for Rob, in addition to being very judicious with how he spends our free dollars. I saw this on X this morning, and everyone's pumped up. Like Ben said it. This is kind of the season of hope, ladies and gentlemen. It's your fantasy football, dream weaving, the whole thing, and soak it in. But I saw something on X, just one of those infographics, like who's going to argue with this Raiders offense. And they had Jalen Naylor on there. And I know they got Bowers, they got Genty, and everyone's like foregone conclusion they're going to take
Linderbaum.
Mendoza. And now they do have Linderbaum. But Jalen Naylor, nothing but good times with him. Best of luck in Las Vegas. But it's like, who's going to take down this Raiders offense?
Yeah.
You got a rookie, a center, and a free agent wide receiver as 3 of the components.
That's why one of the free agents they identified was, can't remember where he played, but kicker Matt Gay. Why? Because field goals are going to matter.
Field goals are going to matter.
Brady recognizes, I like it. We ain't there because I know what there is, like 6 times.
Yeah.
But we're close. So we got to get it. We got to. Wait a second. They brought in. What happened to Daniel Carlson?
That's right. They're moving on from Daniel Carlson.
Wow. Maybe Carlson punts and holds for the Alabama kid. Holy.
Bring him back.
I know we got talkbacks, but there's so much going on.
Well, let me hit you with this, though, because all the negativity, all right? Tough times, 9-18. What's up with the QB? What do Ed Ingram and his $37.5 million, Jalen Naylor and his $35, Ryan Wright and his 14, and Verdarian Lowe have in common?
It's a great question.
The GM is crazy.
Hey.
The GM was crazy. That's from his first draft.
All right. Well,
you guys were down on Kwesi, okay? 4 of his draft picks just got paid in free agency.
Mm-hmm. That takes the tent. There's another tentacle from that position. All right. Acting general manager. I don't think there'll be a change after the draft. No steam. That's my opinion. It's the Matt Thomas bit sitting in Brizz's chair. If Briz wants his chair back, it ain't there. So Briz stays in the same chair.
Can I just call him GM, or is acting like I got to say acting?
I'm saying, yeah. Or you can call him, he's the executive vice president of football operations. So you got that too.
It's a long business card title.
But haven't thought about this one. What goes into having the bean counter with more of a hand in bringing players in?
Ooh.
I mean, because now you got to get into, is it frugal or is it pridefully cheap? Or on the other side, is it 99 bottles of beer? I'll take it. Go ahead. Whole thing right there. I mean, because there are no past performances on this, with the exception of what's developing or not developing now. Where C.J. Ham retires, Ryan Kelly retires, Ryan Wright to New Orleans, Jalen Naylor to the Raiders, and then all the guys we cut.
Yeah.
So this is all the past performances are being developed now.
They are indeed.
Talkbacks.
Talkbacks via the free iHeartRadio app. Let me find one. Let me see here. I have a bunch of them pulling up the page. I apologize for the pause. Here we go.
Hello there, PA Nordo. Mr. Squeegee here. I'm just going to call in and talk a little Ryan Wright. I had heard through my intel, a.k.a. I'm making this up, that he had found out once we get Kyler Murray, we'll have Jefferson, Addison, and whatever running back we get with a re-signed Hawkinson.
Never
And
punting.
a healthy offensive line. He knew we wouldn't have much need for a punting situation this
Squeegee.
year. So he was kind of hoping that he could go to a place where they might have more field time for him and his services.
Brilliant. New Orleans should punt more than the Minnesota Vikings, especially when it's Kyler Murray going play action off Jeremiah Love. Ooh, Jefferson got behind Cordell Flott. Here's a deep pass. Touchdown, Vikings.
Oh, wow. Talkback machine. Somebody's doing some serious Crimson Tide intel.
Hey, good morning, guys. Bruce from Shakopee. Hey, maybe the Vikings should get Reed Schubach, who was the punter who held for Will Reichert in Alabama.
Come on now.
His punting stats look pretty good, but
Okay.
he's not on any roster anywhere. Maybe they could bring him in as a UDFA and try him out. Maybe ask Will Reichert what he thinks about that. Might not be a bad idea. Have a good one, guys.
Amen, brother. Come on now.
I think the kicker has earned he's a good holder. Mm-hmm. Maybe we talk to Reichert about that. I like that. Talkback machine.
Hey guys, this is Jason. The other caller brought up Sean Tucker as far as a running back, and he would certainly bring a little extra juice to the running back room. We definitely need some.
He ain't fast.
Rashad White's another guy, super reliable in the passing game. We could use that. But the guy I have my eye on under the radar is Keaton Mitchell. The Ravens didn't tender him at all, and he's kind of Devon A-Chain light. And when it comes to speed, not light at all. I think he'd be electric for us and give us some juice we really don't have.
All right.
Don't believe. Is he available via free agency?
Keaton Mitchell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe he is.
Well, because if he wasn't, or even if he is,
Let's see here.
but if he wasn't, again, past performance is being developed. Money manager and arguably the greatest capologist in the history of the NFL because of longevity and things he's created. Watch Briz cook. Ain't nobody squeezing Briz. You got the ingenuity of the money manager sitting in the general manager spot, which means you probably could sign Keaton Mitchell, the running back, and put something in the contract where he can't play within 30 miles of Lambeau Field, Soldier Field, or Ford Field.
I always love that one.
And he's ours.
A different poison pill.
And then Goodell catches wind of it once it goes official, and freaking Trey Blake is our official or is one of the officials for like 9 of our games.
I always love that
That'd be
one.
great. That's special. Might as well just wear a Matt Patricia T-shirt with Roger Goodell's face on it and a clown nose. Well, that worked out really well for old Matty, didn't it?
I just want Jason, though, I think he's on to something, I should say, with Keaton Mitchell. I like that idea. Well done on the talkback.
Hey, Nordo.
Hey.
UPS guy again.
Oh, hi.
I know there's a ton of talk about Kyler Murray, Geno Smith, guy like that coming in.
Don't do
open
it,
up
UPS
some
guy.
athleticism, get him cheap.
Don't do it.
What about Justin Fields?
Oh!
From an athletic standpoint, the guy's a freak. Quarterback, not so much.
This whole thing
But
needs
it
to
couldn't be
end.
any worse than either of those two. What are your thoughts on that one, big dog?
We greatly he asked you.
Yeah, love you, UPS guy. It's a no thanks. It's a no thanks on the quarterback Justin Fields. How about this?
Hey guys, with CJ Ham retiring, TJ Hawkinson redoing his deal, now he's just in for 1 year. Maybe you can ask PA, Ben, and Nordo, what do they think about Kenyon Sadiq at number 18?
I like him.
Or if we think he's going to slide, maybe trading back to grab a little more equity and putting him in there. And he could, with his size and speed, he could be pretty versatile. He could possibly fill like an H-back type of role, but we can also throw him out in the slot, take up that speedy nailer position.
Where are you going to fit in with Munt and Urasek?
Yeah.
I always love
Answer
that.
that.
And what if Bartholomew takes off?
By the way, Sadiq is sweet.
Yeah, he's good.
And the sneaky part of that, I think that he brought up in the conversation with the nipping and tucking of dollars is the deletion of that year for TJ. So he's going to make, 16 or 17 this year, I think. And then that's it. And so decisions will have to be made. Sadiq is pretty damn sweet.
Well, one of the talkbacks mentioned C.J. Ham's retirement. I mean, the Miami Dolphins did cut fullback Alec Ingold. He's a beef eater.
And he went to the Chargers.
Oh, he did?
I think he went to the Chargers, yeah.
Ingold is with the Chargers now?
So from South Beach to
How
SoCal.
They do that?
Yeah. That was something
Alec Ingold, Chargers.
We never get to we never get to know who makes the calls, but
what is Harbaugh doing? Because he has Ingold, but he has that beefeater Matlock who never played.
Yeah.
And then in our game he played 45 plays and he was killing people.
Yeah.
And he's one of those fullback, linebacker, special teams bits.
Well, after
like a new age Lorenzo Alexander.
After he trades Justin Herbert to the Minnesota Vikings and he brings J.J. McCarthy out there, he's going to need Kamani Vidal with some big bodies in front of him, 4 tight ends on the field, and try to relive some of that Michigan magic.
11:46, 9 to noon. Don't leave.
I can't wait. Final segment of a Talker Tuesday. Talker Tuesday is brought to you by Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply and all the talkbacks. Thank you so much for those today. And more throughout this time period of free agency. We're going to hear more about QBs tomorrow, of course. Talkbacks, we love you for it. Thanks for using the free iHeartRadio app. But this week's tastiest talkback, if you will, the winner of the $25 Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply gift card. Here we go, Kyle.
PA Nordo, what's up? Kyle from Isani, a.k.a. K-Doc Cuisine, business in the streets, and a freak with the meats. First, I'd like to say bonjour to Pierre. Hope he can surprise us like Rodgers did last year. And au revoir to our voluptuous punter. If we can get Kyler Murray in on a veteran minimum and our capologist can free up some extra money, can we get Calais Campbell in here, bolster that defensive line, get some pressure on the QB? 5 sacks last year. We're missing that. Let's go, Skull, baby.
Thank you to Kyle and Isanti. Admittedly, he had me with business in the streets and a freak with the meats.
Yeah.
He gets it. Well, we'll see what he gets $25 to Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply, northernfirebbq.com. Thanks for the talkbacks.
Mm-hmm. I like that talkback feature on Tuesdays where we get the opportunity to give away prizes / prize. And Nordo's right. Tomorrow, big quarterback day.
Kyler, shotgun, Rondale Moore in motion, throws it over the middle. Hey, throw an interception again. Yes, you did, Kyler. And that one goes to Cam Bynum, who heads to the left side, 30-35.
That's 9 to noon for today. Thank you very much for listening. Finchie joins us tomorrow at 9:30 after they beat the Lakers tonight. For Nordo, I'm Paul Allen. May God bless you and all of your families, and have a wonderful day. Bye.
9 to noon.
Personal foul. Clipping.
I know, right?
Double doink.
Yeah, but
this is an old-fashioned ass kicking right here.
And that's a fact.
If it's good news or money, leave a message.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.